Alright, how's it going everybody? So it's been a few days, weeks. It's been a few weeks since I put out this last video. So this is the next vlog in my road to 400 wheel horsepower. A lot of things have happened since the last video. A lot of changes happened. So this is kind of a compilation of all the clips I've taken since then. You'll see, I think the first thing I need to talk about is I end up getting a new Wastegate solenoid onto the car. So this is me putting that on there right now. The Wastegate solenoid was a pretty easy swap out. I think the max solenoid that I had on there before wasn't really up to the task. It's an industrial valve, and I think the operating temperature of that is like lower than the ambient heat inside the engine bay. So it wasn't great for the application. So I went to a Preload solenoid. So I got that from N75 Motorsports, my tuner. This is me putting that on the car. You got to make sure you put the right hoses to the right hoses, and that can be confusing. But on their website they had a diagram of which goes where, so it was really easy to tell where I'm supposed to put that one. This hose right here is going to the turbo, and then this one's going to the wastegate. And there's our current bracket. We gotta take those screws. You can see those two screws off, gotta come off. And then I gotta get the wire, the hoses off the wastegate and the turbo, so good luck. All right guys, so we are back. I got the Preload solenoid onto the car, and man does it feel like night and day difference. So that is amazing. Went out with my friend Chris and we just did some test pulls, and it just does what it's supposed to do. Just no drama. It's great because like the heat management right now is like peak. Intake temperatures are lower because I have the front mount intercooler now, but I also had methanol, so it's already pretty fine there. But the coolant temps are even lower, and I still have the stock thermostat in there. So it's 180 degree thermostat. I have 160 degrees thermostat. I'm just being lazy with doing a coolant change and trying to do all that. So just talked to my tuner and he's like saying everything looks good. So we're gonna try and wait on a revision. I don't know if he's gonna send one tonight or not, but if he does, I'm getting back in the car. All right, so we're writing a new tune. My guy gave me a hotter tune, so we can push a little bit more. So we're gonna see what it can do. Cool. So I got this tune flashed to the car, and that was the first stuffed turbo tune I really had on the car. So I had that version, and since then I've moved from version 1 to version 2 to version 3. And right now I'm currently sitting and waiting on version 4 at the time of making this video. When I get version 4, we'll have more stuff to talk about. There were some issues with the car that I had to fix between now and then anyway. Largely it's going to be about the wastegate, so this whole next section is all about the wastegate and my issues with the wastegate. Alright guys, welcome back. So today's mission is to replace the wastegate actuator. Currently staking out the UPS guy, waiting for him to show up. But while we wait for him to show up, we're going to try to get the old one off. The reason we're replacing the wastegate actuator is because the boost it's making right now, the turbo's falling off, and I think it's because the wastegate spring is not strong enough to hold boost at redline. But I was talking to this guy, Zapper, shout out to Zapper, on the Facebook group, and he suggested I add more preload to it. That probably could have solved my problem, but we already bought the new piece, so new springs going on there. I think it's going to be a 15-pound spring. It's like 3 screws that I'm working on, but they are like deep inside of the engine, so they're beneath the turbo against the engine block. Car's a little hot right now, but we're gonna see what we can do. I think all the tools I need to do this are right here. So we got 10mm wrench, small socket, got some flexi parts, some extension, deep 10mm for the actuator side, a handy dandy Swiss Army knife, which always helps to get the job done. That should be everything I need to do it. Like I said, it's just 3 bolts. It's just really hard to get to. So I've been under the car for like an hour. I got 2 of the bolts off. There's that last one on the top of the wastegate actuator. And I thought I was gonna beat the UPS guy, but I didn't. Here's our haul here. So, open that up. We have our springs and stuff here. And I've got the wastegate actuator. Let's crack it open. All right, there's our part. That's what's gonna replace what we got going on. This nut on the end loose. I have the bottom nut loose, and the top one is what I'm struggling with because it is like right up against everything, and there's almost no way to get it. without taking the whole turbo off. I'm gonna try to do it one more way. Hopefully I can do it without taking the whole turbo off, but I gotta get this done today, no matter what. And these mosquitoes are ridiculous, so here we go. Okay, so we got more tools. It's not going the way I thought it was. got some help. All right, so it's what time is it? Old one is out, new one is in. Now we're just bolting back up the manifold. Then I gotta put the inlet arm back on and then the intake. Woo! Yeah, I'm not trying to do any more jobs to my car for a while. I hope this is like, this nails it the first time, because if not, yo, I'm just, it's just gonna ride like that.
All you need is the hand motions.
Knight in shining armor there. Put the guns, show us the guns.
No, I'm gonna show you this gun right here. That's what saved it. Right there. Can we zoom in right there? Look at that. Look at that pump. Look at that pump.
All right, let's finish up so we can go eat. Day 2, we're back. So we got the new wastegate actuator on the car, but there is one issue. The preload is non-existent. So I've been fiddling with this, and I probably didn't even need the new wastegate actuator. It was just me being done with the preload. Let me explain to you what preload is. Here we have my old turbo. Here is the wastegate. It's light in there. Inside of your turbo, you have the wastegate actuator. It's a door that opens to let your exhaust gases out. So if it's open, exhaust gas is coming out, you're not making any boost. If it's closed, just keeping those exhaust gases in, trying to make boost. We got our wastegate actuator. That goes about right there and connects through that. And man, is that crooked. So wastegate actuator goes there. And the wastegate actuator has a spring in it. Electronic boost controller takes the readings from their turbo over here and readings from this, and your car's computer is going to tell it, hey, we need more boost, we need less boost. And the wastegate actuator is going to push air through here. Pizza guy came. And it moves this door to make boost. Now, when I've been doing this, I've been doing it kind of wrong in that, so when you're setting this up, you want to make sure this door is closed, and then there's a nut on the other side, and once the door is closed, then you're going to tighten these nuts up. So that's how I was doing it before. That is wrong. The reason that is wrong is because if the door is just closed and you stop right there, essentially the spring has nowhere to go, and there's no preload on the spring. Once you get into the boost, it's just going to blow the door wide open, and that's the problem I'm noticing today with the new actuator is I'm still getting the same numbers. Now the thing you want to do is take it to that point and roll this back nut about 8 to 10 millimeters back, and then you want to go ahead and tighten that down so that door meets that. It compresses the spring a bit, gives it some preload, so that way the boost controller has something to work with, and once you get into boost, it's not just blowing the door wide open. So we're gonna try to fix that on that. Just got done from underneath the car. I think we finally got it dialed in. It's pretty far back there. It's not all the way to the back, but we should have a good amount of preload on there. There's a 15-pound spring in there, which is already higher than stock. So with the amount of preload, it should be good to go. Should be good to rip. I'm gonna take it off the ramps here and give it a test drive, and we're gonna see what it does. Got 2 more parts to put on the car. Got my head gasket and got my head studs. 3 parts, sorry. I'm still waiting on the clutch to come in from KDM Tuners. I think they said there's an issue with the machine shop, so they've been slacking on that, but doesn't matter because I don't have the money to do that job yet anyway. So whenever it gets here, it'll probably be right on time. So yeah, let's go do a test drive. Cool. So I went and did that test drive and got the preload way wrong, like way wrong. I'm probably sure I did some damage to the car because the boost spikes were insane. I got the preload way too far back for that wastegate actuator and that 15-pound spring. So when I went back and changed it, I just had to find the happy spot between when I wasn't cutting the throttle. Like if I looked at the data logs, I would see that the wastegate duty cycle was way too low, and it was cutting the throttle body actually to try to compensate for the boost. So the spring was like maxed out in the other direction. So I had to move it back and like slowly, and it sucks because doing that job, I like work during the week, so I could only do that job once a day. Like I would come home from work, put the car up on the ramps, and then after I put the car up on the ramps, I would wait 2-3 hours for the car to cool off. And then once the car cooled off, I'd move the wastegate just a little bit out and then I'd do a test drive and see if it was better. And it'd be better, or I'd still see that throttle body cutting. So I'm hitting limits there, and then I'll wait till the next day to try it again. So it took a few days to get it right. And even right now, as it sits, I probably want to move it back in a little bit. Right now, it might be just a little bit too far out. I don't know. We'll see when I get version 4 if it'll hold boost at redline. But you know, if it doesn't hold boost at redline, we'll know. A week or two after I got all my wastegate issues solved, I was talking to my tuner, and he was like, "Oh yeah, let's see if we can get it on a dyno, and see what the numbers are." And he said he was gonna send me another map before I got to the dyno, but he didn't know I was gonna show up at the dyno like the very next day because I got a paycheck. So I was like, "Hey, let's go, got it, get it." So we went to the dyno. And I was hoping for about 300 wheel horsepower. That's what I thought we were close to, because like the car felt a little bit scary to me. You know, I've driven my friend's EcoBoost Mustang that was like very tuned, close to 400 wheel horsepower. So I was like a little scared of my car, weighing only 2,900 pounds. But turns out we're not even that fast yet. So that's what this is.
All right, so out of work, gonna drive over to this dyno place and see if we can get dynoed.
Cool. So I went to the dyno, I did my pulls. I only ran about 6 pulls or whatever, but the video right there isn't the first pull, that's like the second set of pulls. It wasn't very conducive to filming, so I didn't film too much in there, and I didn't take a lot of pictures other than the dyno screens. But I'll show you guys in the next video how the dynos went, and show you the logs and show you what I was looking for and why I think, you know, we're in a good position. That is all I have for today. I hope you guys have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe, what you think about the car and the build so far. Yeah, and keep me in the loop. Have a good day.